On this Father's Day, we have 5 gentlemen who will walk us through their journey of fatherhood. Join us as they share their experiences and insights.
My name's David Ndisho Idaka. I'm 60 years. I have 2 kids, 1 wife.
My name is Eric Tobonjiro. I am 44 years of age. I am a proud father of 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl.
My name is Washira Ndagwa. I am 38 and I'm a father to a teenage girl.
I'm Tom Mutua. I'm 38 years old. I'm a father of 2 boys, aged 8 years, and the second one is about to turn 4 years.
My name is Paul Gatumo. I'm 27 years old. I'm a father of 1.
A snippet from my past. My father was a present father. I knew when my father is going to work. I could tell you the precise time when my father would be back home from work. His routine was pretty predictable. To an extent, I found it to be boring, to be honest. However, it's interesting that has become more or less my routine.
Well, for me, growing up, my father was really present, and I think I've learned a lot from my dad because he was a present dad. He was always there for us.
I became a dad at the age of 21. And looking back at it, probably I wouldn't do it the very same way if I was to be in charge of the blueprint of my life. But I think God designed it that way, because from the moment at that point I became a dad, then my life did a complete 360. So being a child, being a dad at that age, let me say being a father, because it took quite some years before I became a dad. It is confusing, extremely confusing, and I knew this is it. My life has ended, and I have probably done the biggest mess that probably anybody could ever conceive in their minds. But I think when I consider it, because it was God's plan, it was one of the best things that could have happened to me.
Parenthood, you cannot delegate. You have to be there. I worked outside my family all the time. And only the period that I used to get to come home is when I'm off duty. So most of the time you find that you're coming home and finding new challenges, new expectations, and so many things that probably I'm not prepared for.
Fatherhood journey has been an interesting one. The truth is, no one prepares you. There's no scripting in terms of what you expect, what you'll find. There are many things you prepare for. However, when it starts, becomes learning on the job. 13 years ago, when I got married, I had the vision of the kind of family I wanted to raise. Having been raised in a setup where so many things were passed on in terms of principles, values, and what I perceive to be the ideal or a good setting of a family. But as well, the experiences that you go through, there are also agreements that you set up with your partner that also forms part and parcel of what you're supposed to embody as a family setup.
I've learned a lot from my past years where I could do anything that I'd want to do, but now I have to prioritize on, planning the future of my kid.
My fatherhood journey started when I was 30 years old, and it's been quite exciting and a little bit hard. I've been in both spectrums. For my firstborn, I was very present for his formative years, the first 5 years. When he came up, I was a very present dad. And that is a journey I wouldn't trade anything for. I walked with him, and I feel that me and him are quite tight about that, and we have an understanding between us. For my secondborn, I tried to be present, but things did not work out, and so I did not see him for a while.
I expect them to venture into life independently of my influence. That I find to be the most appropriate thing, because I don't want to micromanage them in their life.
I've learned to make the children aware that I am accessible to them. At a point in my childhood, access to the father or access to the parent was on the basis of what is mandatory. Is it about school fees? Is it about your health? Is it about a need? But there was no space about conversation. How was your day? What are you dealing with now? Who are your friends? What have you picked up? Or what is it that you're choosing to learn from some of the experiences you're having? That is something I've had to create. And in it also given me an opportunity to provide direction. For example, what is the narrative being given about some of the social norms that we have accepted? What is the narrative I'll give about what is this that they're encountering within the environment or within the society that needs to be controlled or confined to the truth and not on a myth basis. I have boys who are getting to develop, they are getting to puberty. How has that been addressed in society? How has it been addressed in the media? Can they come and find truth, perspective, and it giving them a guide on how they address it as they go along?
I'm at the point of whereby I now understand that this one is almost an adult. And so from being the daddy to being the disciplinarian to now, I'm at the point whereby I am now more of a friend. The place that I'm at is that everything that I am doing, I have to make sure that she learns it, but probably at a dialed down level a little bit, be it probably things like etiquette, those small unwritten rules of life. If someone tells you, okay, what will you have? If they decided to take tea, you also ask for tea, all those kinds of things. And be it banking, you show her how it's done, so that as she gets to she sees you do it, she gets probably to experience it also.
For my firstborn, it was a little bit hard for him to adjust to 2 homes. I remember one time him asking me, "Dad, why do we need to live in 2 homes?" And I did not have an answer for him. It was, I mean, coming from a 7-year-old, what do I tell him? That me and the mom couldn't figure it out, and we decided it's best to both raise you under sanity conditions where you'll be raised well on this side and you'll be raised well on this side. But trying to explain that to a child, it's quite difficult.
Intentionality for me right now is instilling values. I think growing up in a religious family, values were key to us, because growing up, our father did a lot to us. Like, he was there always. So I feel like being there for my kid would be so intentional. Like, every phase of his life, him saying the first word. In fact, he said dad before mom. Like if your child sees you, like every time, he clicks with you better rather than you being away.
But also the other thing is that I've learned that fatherhood is about being deliberate. There is nothing like autopilot when it comes to fatherhood. Anybody can be a daddy. It doesn't take much, so to speak. But fatherhood, on the other hand, there is a lot of deliberate effort that you need to put in. Not just energy, but also mind to it. Is there progression in how the children are relating with you, or how the children are relating with you in their formative years and now? I had to sit my boys at one point and tell them, actually my elder son, I had to sit him down and tell him, listen, I am not your friend now. I am your father. A time of friendship will come once you have embodied a level of responsibility along.
For the missed milestones, I would say I work around the schedules that I've been given, shared school holidays, and the weekends that I have them with me. Of course, like if it's a birthday, not all of them will fall on my weekend. So if it falls before or after, we'll celebrate it with me whenever that happens. What keeps me up at night is who is pouring into their life. I mean, I would want to be there to put them to bed every day or talk to them. So that I get to wonder, I mean, who is doing it for them. So it's something I think about a lot.
If there's anything that will keep me up at night with regards to my daughter is when I'm praying for her.
So I think the financial part and being financially secure is one of the things that would keep me up at night.
You need now to know that you've got now something called you're now dealing between something called goals and purpose. Okay, and there's one thing that you need to understand, that the goals in life keep changing, but the purpose never changes. So goals shift, purpose changes, but along the road, the goals you can attain them, but the purpose is like the horizon. It's set, it's not going to move. So as you're 21 or as you're just about to become a father, there is no way possible you expect that you're going to succeed if the things that, let me say that you yourself know that they're detrimental to your life, and then you take all those things, you package them together, and then you become a dad, whereby you're living recklessly. You're not planning for your finances, you're not planning for your future, you're not planning maybe probably to complete your education or to start a business or whichever it is that you do. You're just living like today is the last day. Then it's going to become extremely hard.
My legacy is that I managed to bring my children up to date. I bring my children up to date, and that they are doing well and able to manage themselves. That's a legacy, I find.
Interestingly, when I was trying to come up with what would be an ideal framework, I thought of the Lord's Prayer. And it's interesting that it references a father, that the person we are calling out to is a father. And the first thing that we know where he exists or where his presence is, because you say, our Father who art in heaven. So my being a father has to be that my child can be able to get access to me by virtue that they know where I am. I still believe there is no script in terms of my being a father that I am required to follow, but I believe there is an expectation of me being deliberate in my fatherhood. And this requires that constantly I'm in touch with my children. Constantly I am asking those questions. Constantly I am in their space and on their face to get to know who are they becoming. Are they people who society will be proud to associate with? Are they people who, when they reference where they're coming from, will be a reference point that indeed they have acquired what they need to succeed in life? I would want them to look back and say that it's not that they got everything that they needed, but they got what they required for them to become good fathers at their time, when that time comes. Of course, there is the reference point of scripture that we have a father who is ever present, who is ever there for us. Then how do I become that? As I grow, as I said earlier, that I would want to create a framework that they can become friends. My father and I right now can talk, so to speak, as two others of the village. Him having raised a family, me raising a family. But there are spaces in which also I require his advice as a father.
There is one thing I believe, is that maybe men and women can have their disagreements. But when it comes to the child, even if it is just to tell the mother, I just want my child to know who I am, okay? And for the mothers to allow them, if that is their biological father, let that child just even have a handshake or just meet him and just have a conversation with him. And everything that you did, I hope that you'll choose to be happy, knowing that even if you never succeeded in many aspects of your life, your kids got to know who their father is, and they can say, that man is my father. He's got his faults, no matter what, but at least I've got the reference point of who he is. And above all, whenever each and every person comes to the end of their life, you'll always be remembered for two things: the problems you helped create or the problems you helped solve. And I hope you choose to be remembered for the problems you helped solve.
I hope you have picked a thing or two from the insights shared today. As you like, share, and subscribe to this channel, I'd like you to go to the comment section and complete this phrase. Now that I'm older, see you on the next one.